What should I do?
What should I do?
What should I do?
What are my rights?
What are my rights?
What are my rights?
A legal course of action.
A legal course of action.
A legal course of action.
A legal morse of action.
Don't need quick player. There we go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Legal Morse of Action. My name is Patricio, and as always, we are joined by Attorney Morse. How you doing, Erin?
So good. How are you?
I am super. Just wanted to make sure, levels look good. And if you're listening to us via Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wow, we're on a lot of things right now. I'm kind of nervous.
I am too. It's weird. It's weird people will see my face in so many places.
So you last week we recorded here in the in your beautiful home.
Yeah.
And we
with my beautiful cabinets.
No, I actually do love the lighting in here. It's amazing. It really brings out my brownness.
I'm gonna have to thank Wiley Orton for doing our
shout out to Wiley Orton right there. Thank you so much. Hello, Kyle. Welcome to the show. You are still working from home.
Yeah. Well, my son's teacher was positive for COVID, so I had to quarantine with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not technically quarantining because I don't know science. I'm only following the recommendations of the physicians and things like that. So, but he is quarantined to make sure he doesn't have symptoms, and
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have symptoms, and he'll be out of quarantine sometime next week.
Nice.
I think we'll get the official return date soon.
So this is kind of bringing you back to when
Wiley, he just joined. We love our lighting. That's why we're filming at home.
it kind of brings you back to like when pandemic, COVID first, was a big thing, and like being in the house and doing the in-home schooling and working from home. It's kind of like a, Corona 2.0 at this point.
I don't miss it. This is hard. There are a lot of parents who have been continuing to do this, and I don't know how. I don't. It's, one of those things that balancing having to have the responsibilities of work
Mm-hmm.
and having the responsibilities of making sure that my son is staying on task, which he does. I don't, his school is great and it's been fantastic. It's just that it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to balance all at once. And then I have this added, mom guilt as just a person who's a mother, that I'm neglecting him all day. That I'm just like, you have to be quiet. I have to take these calls. I have a mediation all day today.
But I'm sure, like, he, over the years, he's come to understand that, like, mommy has to work.
For sure. And he does great. I worry, is it really good for him, his education, and for what he needs as a developing small human being, to just be by himself all day, be streaming a screen, and then when he has a break, he plays on his tablet, and when he, it's like he goes from the little screen to the medium screen to the big screen to watch TV. It's not really fair for him.
Well, no, when I walked in right before I started setting up, he was doing his homework watching Pac-Man, and I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, I remember the show being out like about 10 years ago.
I know, he's so cool and retro. He's cool.
And then I remember
he watched all the old Sonic before that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Props to you, Connor.
This is on his own. He's so much cooler than I was.
No, I feel like he's putting more into appreciation to the character from all these classic video games.
Yeah, he's really, it's really interesting how he, picks the shows that he wants to watch.
He's going to be the kid who has like that cool cover on his phone, like that retro cover that just
he had a Mandalorian one for a while.
Oh,
I think that's what he still has. He is cool. He's so much cooler than I am.
As I was driving over here, I got off on I-4, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm getting on I-4. I'm thinking to myself, it's only 4:00 because that's when I left the office. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to beat the traffic. Usually everyone gets out at a little bit past 5:00. It's going to be easy, smooth sailing.
And then we laughed and laughed and laughed.
I don't get it. I don't get it. People are getting out earlier on these days.
I don't do I-4, so
Do you take? So you take the back route?
I take 1792.
Oh, okay. No, I going home because I live off of I-4. It's just so much easier to take.
Well, I-4 isn't that inconvenient to where I live either. So it's I-4 itself is not bad. It's just that driving I-4 is crap and it's unpredictable.
I drove on it the other night and I was the only driver on the road, which is really effing cool. But then I realized, holy crap, there are 5 lanes now on I-4.
And it's still congested.
It's still congested. I'm like, no, we're about to become like the California LA traffic here in Orlando.
I don't know about that.
I don't want that.
Have you ever been to LA?
Yes. And I've driven through.
I haven't, but I've only seen pictures. So I see pictures and I'm like, that's definitely not us. I've only seen pictures, so I didn't know if you had some experience on it.
Back in 2017, family and I, ex-family, went to LA. We rented a car and we drove from LA up to the mountains.
Family awkward.
Well, I got a boyfriend girlfriend divorce, and driving through traffic in LA, you have to be on your toes to be able to maneuver.
So no texting and driving.
No texting and driving, and I think it's the same thing with like all these big cities, whether it's New York or Chicago. And I've driven. I've
driven in New York and I've driven in Boston.
Which one do you think is more the more difficult one?
So. Did you say deplorable?
Did I say deplorable?
Yeah, that was a question.
I don't think.
Okay. Well, Boston is more deplorable because the way that their roads are much older.
Mm-hmm.
New York City was built on a grid. So if you miss your turn, you can take the next one and it's a level of squares.
Yeah.
But in Boston, the roads they went around trees and rocks and they were for horse and carriages, right? When the pilgrims landed, right? So the roads are messed up. They don't make sense. That they'll just dead end and you'll have no notice. They're too narrow. It's awful. It's awful to drive.
I'm still gonna.
If I go to Boston, I don't drive. I hit a T station outside of Boston in one of the suburbs. I park at a T station. And
what's a T station?
The train, the subway.
Oh, okay.
They call it the T there.
Oh, yeah.
The Mass Transit Authority, they call it the T. So so I just park outside of.
So
Boston
basically, like the same concept of the Sunrail that we have here, you can just like take the transit.
Not at all.
Not at all. No.
Way more train stations. And geographically, it's just a little bit smaller. You really can manage Boston mostly on foot and with the T station.
Oh no, the same with.
You can't manage Orlando.
No, same with Chicago. I could take if I get an all-day pass, I jump on a city bus or the train, and I'm able to go any and everywhere just on that. Like I think maybe $10 or $15 all-day pass. Here, no, you're wasting half your day just on the one transit.
Their Wi-Fi stinks.
Oh my! I didn't even know.
Let me complain about that. Whoever needs to hear this, fix the Wi-Fi on the train. Thanks.
I had a scare late last year with driving, so I wanted to try out the Sunrail, and it's clean, it's nice, it's smooth, but it's just the schedule is just too far apart. Like you miss one, you go to Boston or New York or Chicago, you miss one train, you still have like maybe 15 minutes till the next one.
You could probably walk to the next station.
You probably could, yeah. But here, no, you're waiting like that hour and a half sometimes. And sometimes these buses, because of the whole COVID thing, you're bus at capacity, you're screwed till the next hour. Bus at capacity, you're screwed to the next hour.
They have that happens?
Yeah, the links right now, I've seen multiple times driving through, whether it's Colonial or wherever through Orlando, I have seen buses that say at capacity.
I don't live now where I live. It's not convenient to be in where my office is. It's not convenient to do the Sunrail.
The Sunrail, yeah.
Yeah. And I can't walk from a Sunrail station in the kind of shoes I need to wear to work. I'd have to become one of those like working women from the 80s where they would have their sneakers and have their shoes in their bag and they have like really thick socks and be like, I'm a working woman. Change from my sneakers to my high heels.
Before we jump into the questions, I want to ask you something because I just want to get your opinion about it.
Oh,
how do you think about the matchup coming up between Tampa Bay and Green Bay right now? Your boy Tom.
I think that he threw down and he proved everyone wrong. I think he did what he needed to do.
I really do think so, and I know he's just the quarterback. It's a team effort, but I'm like, come on,
You
Tom
cannot say. Let me stop you right there.
I'm just repeating
You
what the other people are
cannot
saying.
say he's just a quarterback. He is the mother effing goat. And you know it. Come on. We're the Patriots. This wasn't Belichick.
Not at all. Not one bit.
I think he's a good leader, and I think he's ready to continue breaking records. Could you imagine if he wins the Super Bowl this year?
Okay, all right. I will say it right now on your show. If Brady wins the Super Bowl with,
even if he goes, that's still
a big accomplishment. That really is his first year with that team.
I am 33 and I am tired. How are you out there doing this? I'm tired.
Oh my God, no! I feel the
It
same.
must be because he doesn't eat tomatoes.
Does he not?
No,
What?
he thinks they're poisonous because they're nightshades. He's really obsessive and particular about his diet.
I didn't know that. I'm
but
surprised you know that. Wait, how do you know Tom Brady's diet?
I'm from Boston. I know everything about Tom Brady. We're almost friends. No. It's Tom Brady. Yeah, he has a really restrictive and very specific diet, which of course there's a reason that he's the GOAT, right? Because he takes it seriously. He's always on. He's always making sure he does what he needs to do. So he feeds his children very particularly, which is good. It is obviously it works, right?
Yeah, I mean, how many championship rings now?
8.
Is it really 8?
I think it's 8. I think. I don't Google it. Tell me I'm wrong. Am I wrong, guys?
Okay. All right, Brady.
How many championship rings? Let's get up on this Google machine. We're here with a lot of devices. The internet is, right here.
I'm going to say 6.
You might be right.
I think 6.
I think I just want him to have 8.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's 100. He's won every Super Bowl.
My opinion, I'm biased on this one being from a hometown. I still think Jordan is the GOAT in sports. For basketball. But
they're not comparable.
For football,
how many championships did Jordan win?
6, 3 back to back, 2. The repeat of the three-peat.
So come on,
I call
they're
it
on par.
So how many does he have?
6. You were right. I was
Okay.
wrong.
Okay.
Sorry, I was wrong. 8. I think I was just getting a little excited. I'm like, I can predict the future. It's gonna be 8. Well,
it might be 7 in a few weeks. It'd be cool. That'll be cool.
It would just be cool. It's exciting to see someone, work hard and succeed at something.
Yeah.
Because it didn't just fall in his lap. He worked at it. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a first round pick. He wasn't like a superstar in college.
He proved his worth with
hard work and perseverance. I don't know, the American dream. Yeah, that's why he's amazing. And he doesn't eat tomatoes; they're poisonous. How do you live without pizza?
I kind of want to stay on this just real quick. What do you think about LeBron James then? Me.
Basketball's not. I'm not as interested in basketball because my basketball legend is Larry Bird. Because I'm from Boston. That's you know what I mean. That's who my stepdad growing up, who he was into. I had a Larry Bird jersey. Remember those pullover starter jackets?
Yes.
Mine was a Celtics one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was
I had the Bulls. I had all attire, all Bulls, all everything growing up.
I thought it was so cool.
Same, and I look like a dork now that I look at photos from.
Now I look at photos and I'm like, I was cool. Because a lot of the girls, what did they like? What was that team that had the really great, like purple and blue? The Hornets?
No, I think the Utah Jazz. No. Utah Jazz, because they had purple.
No, it was like the Hornets of some sort. I remember I was like, what are those? The bumblebees? But it was like in elementary school. The Celtics were cool to me also because I'm Irish. Mm-hmm. So that was a thing for me. So all the girls had that I don't remember what they were. Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, the Charlotte Hornets. Okay. Not to be confused with the Charlotte Bumblebees. So yeah, that's a completely different division, different team right there.
Those are the elementary school kids. And yeah, so they
wait, is that going here or is that going upstairs?
No, that's gonna go in my bathroom. So last week my husband made a phone stand, which is this phone stand for my phone, right? Because I was like, I think we want to go.
I'm gonna move my camera so we can show everyone watching. Like Sam literally built this in a few minutes.
Yeah.
You're like, I need a phone stand.
I was like, no, I didn't even ask for it. He's so amazing that I was like, I think I need. Do we have a bucket or something I could like sit upside down for my phone? And all of a sudden, he like puts it together. So now, right now, why don't you come over here? So now, this is for all of my lipsticks in my bathroom, which we are in the process of remodeling.
I will be scared if you're able to fill all those.
I can. I actually need about 2 more of these.
And it'll sit on the wall.
Holy moly, that is a lot of lipstick.
Well, I mean, he just put that together in like a moment, and it'll be angled and hanging on the wall. Aren't you envious? I should have my own makeup channel. I do like legal stories and makeup.
Terry says, a Celtics fan, you say. I like Erin already.
I practically am a Celtic, right?
So, you got to show love and appreciation to your hometown. During lunch today, right before I went to lunch, I'm on Facebook and someone had said, oh my God, the Portillo's truck is in downtown Orlando. And I lost my mind.
I don't know what this means. Those are a lot of words put together.
Portillo's is a restaurant up in Chicago that has some of the best roast beef sandwiches and steak sandwiches and hot dogs.
Ooh, Chicago hot dogs.
Exactly. So to hear that a vendor from Chicago is here in Orlando, I got up. I'm like, oh, hold on. Let me confirm this. Let me go online. Let me do all my research. And I couldn't find it. But I'm like, why would this dude say such a statement and it not be true?
Why would you say something so controversial?
I go to Facebook for all my facts and information, so I know Facebook.
If it's on Facebook, it's true.
Like I know Facebook's not lying to me, but no. Fortunately enough, as I go towards Lake Eola, boom, the Portillo's truck was out there, and just having that taste of Chicago. I brought it back to the office and I got me the 2 hot dogs with the cheese fries and the radioactive.
What do you put on your hot dog?
So I do mustard, relish, tomatoes, the banana peppers, and the pickle.
Okay.
No ketchup.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't put ketchup, and if you're putting ketchup on your hot dog, then I don't want to be friends with you. You're an odd one.
You could go now. I like chopped onions and ketchup.
Okay.
And if I'm somewhere that has Chicago,
you're a heathen.
a Chicago style dog, I will do the peppers and pickle.
Yes, and
I like the bun with the seeds on it. I don't know what kind of bun that is.
I don't know what it is, but I still eat it. I love it. It's so because they steam the buns.
I feel like it is the hot dog bun equivalent of an everything bagel.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is right.
But I will say this: as I'm waiting in line for my hot dog or to make my order, I'm talking to the manager of the truck, and I ask him, "Well, where's your brick and mortar going to be?" And he tells me off of 535. I'm like, "How far away is that going to be from the White Castle?"
It's right, Wiley.
And he says, "Right across the street." So,
I don't know why this is impressive.
For me, just hot Chicago style hot dogs and White Castle.
Isn't there that place that's near Barry University? Don't they have Chicago style dogs? That's where I get them.
They do Hot Dog Heaven right there off of East Colonial.
When I was in law school, if I needed a getaway to take a break, because I typically would plan my day where I would have a 2 or 3 hour break so that I could get my homework done, because it's when I had childcare. It was typically when we didn't have a lot of money, so I knew that I had like one shot at having a childcare opportunity. So I'd be like, well, school is from this hours to this hours, and then it would be my childcare. So
yeah. So you would go to Hot Dog Heaven a lot.
Yeah.
A couple of attorneys that I know that went to school there would always rave about Hot Dog Heaven.
Probably because it wasn't the food from Barry's cafeteria. Not that Barry's cafeteria food was bad. It really wasn't. They actually brought in a really great vendor and had good food and Starbucks coffee and eventually Dunkin' Donuts coffee. It was good. The problem is that it was like the same stuff every day.
Yeah.
You needed the getaway. It was the mental break.
No, fair and valid. And just for me, last thing I'm talking about it, I'm just excited that there's going to be a hot Chicago style hot dogs across from White Castle.
We need like a Chicago style popcorn place.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, we're gonna get right on that. But
you steal my idea, someone, because I don't want to do it.
But
in a truck, like you don't need a brick and mortar.
No, you don't.
That's my theory. I don't just park it at. consistently the same spot, maybe.
My buddy has a popcorn kettle stand at the Winter Park Farmers Market every weekend, and he's.
Yeah. Can he bring the cheddar caramel?
I'm gonna message him.
He should expand his.
Yeah, because from kettle corn, I mean, no disrespect, Ryan Holmes, your kettle corn is amazing, but
It is good.
think
I just only sometimes want kettle corn.
yeah, you got to be in the mood for kettle corn.
Right. And you always want the Chicago style popcorn.
Now,
Always.
dang it, now I'm thinking about popcorn. But,
Popcorn and hot dogs from Chicago.
but on tonight's show, I do wanted to bring
Their
up.
pizza's trash, though. I like New York style pizza.
Oh, that greasy pile of dough.
It's amazing. Yeah, pile of dough.
Yeah, that is literally just it is a flat piece of bread with so much.
So that
grease.
is the opposite of a pile. It is flat. The pile of dough is from Chicago. I know. I just won this. Thank you, Your Honor. I'll stop arguing. I'm right.
Chicago pizza better. Just saying. But no, the question that I want, the topic that I want to bring up for tonight's episode is in regards to child support and alimony. A lot of times during a divorce, the one thing that whether it's a wife or sometimes the husband, depending on who's making the more money, are whether it's they're used to a certain lifestyle that they've grown during the marriage, divorce comes in, final judgment. There's sometimes alimony and or child support awarded to one of the parties. And
child support actually has to be addressed in all cases.
And why is that, Erin?
Because your children have a constitutional right to be supported, which is kind of the same idea. Remember, this was the rant I went on yesterday last week before we went on air, and I was like, I'm not talking about that. I agree. It was your children have a constitutional right to be supported, and you have a constitutional right to support your children. See how they analyze that? That it's your right to support them and their right to be supported. Isn't this amazing? Sounds like children should be supported, and you should accept it. Do the thing. You can't write this off in bankruptcy. You can't avoid it by not paying. It will come back. So because children have a right to be supported, that is the same theory behind why there is, welfare programs and food stamps, because children have a right to be supported, and our state will provide for that. It's also why the Department of Revenue will, on behalf of a person who needs to seek child support, and I specifically said person, I am not talking just about moms, but a person who has the right to be receiving support, they will provide services on your behalf. Now, technically, they represent the state of Florida, because what they're representing is the fact that this right exists of a child to be supported. And the big picture concept is that the Department of Revenue would seek to make sure that your child is being supported, whether that means through Florida's welfare programs or through making sure we seek child support. Isn't that nice of them?
That is really nice of them. Thank you, state of Florida.
Thank you for supporting children. So they don't support the recipient of child support. That's not what's happening here. But they support what they're doing is they're helping you make sure your child is supported, right? So they kind of represent that particular interest.
So my question, does that fall under a state constitution, or is that like state constitution? So each state is different when it comes to the rules and guidelines of child support.
Most all states have a very similar, logic.
How
their laws operate and specifically what they say and how they handle them are going to vary. But pretty much every state has a program similar to the Department of Revenue, their version of a child support office, and they will seek child support. Now, what they don't do, so if you get a Department of Revenue letter, it's an administrative proceeding. There are certain things that you have to do if you want to get that in front of a court or get a hearing.
And normally when a case...
If you ignore it, it doesn't go away. They just enter the order, and they only tell you by mail. So... What is difficult about that is they won't address time sharing. So if you haven't seen your kid in 6 months because the mother of your child won't talk to you, and you get a child support letter, and say you find a way and you write the right letter and you respond in the right way and you show up to go to a hearing,
Hmm.
that doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't necessarily, I'm sorry, they won't address your time sharing.
So DOR has only with monetary funds for the child,
Supporting
the child, but nothing in regards to time.
Unless you guys have an agreement, which it sure sounds like you don't. So then you have to go file in the civil court. And the civil court, which is typically where I work, it's when you call me.
407-900-7451.
At that time, we can get what's called a superseding order. But I can't go back and fix it once it's ordered. So I can change it prospectively.
Okay.
But I cannot change it retroactively.
So what does that mean to the people who, like, they're in the beginning stages of this process?
They got a letter? You
Yeah.
should probably call me so that we can respond with a letter asking it be in civil court.
So automatically, well, not automatically, of course, the filings need to be done.
And it doesn't always work.
Is it on DOR's fault, or is it the court's, like...
I'm not trying to blame DOR.
Can I blame DOR?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your problem, DOR? Why can't you get on top of yourself?
They're overburdened. It's
Yeah.
the government. It's trying to get child support through the DMV, right? Not an easy system. It's not perfect,
Mhm.
but it's supposed to do its best to try to band-aid the need for children to be supported.
And I brought this same comparison up in previous episodes where if you're going with an attorney or services provided by the state, that same service is being provided to thousands and thousands of other people that don't have the necessary funds or resources to obtain private counsel. And sometimes there have been situations where I've received a call from a prospect, and they ask that crazy question, well, how much will this cost? How, what's the burden on this? And that doesn't come from me. That comes directly from you after sitting down with you on a consult, because there are certain parameters and factors that you have to weigh in for you to make that assessment.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there have been times where I've said, like, hey, can I have a ballpark figure? And you give me literally the entire ballpark that I'll tell to a client, and they'll be like, I can't afford that. I can't afford that. And
it happens, unfortunately, running a business
Mhm.
like this is costly, right?
Yeah.
I have people I need to employ and things that it's just the nature of the beast. And my student loans really don't care if someone really needs help.
But with all that said, I've talked to clients before, and sometimes, desperate times call for desperate measures. And I remember, and there have been multiple times where a prospect has said, well, let me see if I can talk to a family member or a friend to be able to get like a loan or something to be able to get the ball going. And it takes a big person to ask for help. It really does. But at the same time, if you don't attempt that to go down that avenue, you're never going to know if maybe there was that family member or a friend that is able to help you out. And the reason why I push that is because I've said before, the state services have thousands upon thousands of cases that
Right,
they
do
deal with.
their best.
They do.
They will do their best to band-aid the situation and try to get it done as quickly as possible. It's just imperfect.
But you're able to get more services if you're dealing with someone like you.
Yeah. Well, if you're a parent who only needs child support, this is not in my business best interest, but it's the truth. If you're a parent that only needs child support, as a mom, for instance, go through the DOR. You really don't want to open up a circuit court case, because then you open the door to time sharing. If that's what you want,
Yeah.
go for it. If that's what you want to have, then you should, right? If you're like, no, I want him to have time sharing, I want this, I want the child support, I want it all kind of laid out, that I'm comfortable with that, I need it, then that's what we should do. I have a few moms like that, and it's the right thing. Especially because they really hate this idea of dad's not around, or dad comes by sometimes, or he springs this on me last minute, and that makes it difficult for my son. My son is feeling disappointed. I say son because that's what I have. My daughter, son, your children, feel disappointed. Sometimes going through that process really can improve that. And that's a big picture positive for your child. And there's no dollar figure that can be placed on that.
Oh no, exactly. Like I have,
And then I can hold them in contempt for child support.
yeah, because I have tons of well, this is gonna sound odd. I have a lot of female friends that are in that same boat where child support has been awarded, and daddy's not paying. Daddy, can afford Jordans but can't afford to help out with school.
They need to go to DOR. That's the mom that should go to DOR, because they can go 2 years back if there's never been a court order.
So DOR
From the date of filing. So if it takes you a year and a half to get through your case, you have 2 years plus a year and a half. 2 years before the date of filing for the initial filing, plus the year and a half of retroactive child support.
That's a lot.
And if your baby is young enough, you can get paid back for the expenses of giving birth.
What?
Your medical expenses.
What?
Yeah.
That I didn't know.
It's expensive to bring a human in this world. But if you're married, none of these issues are yours. So, we support marriage.
Yeah, we actually have.
We support divorce, so you can get into a new marriage if you need to.
Yeah, and there have been multiple cases and occurrences where there is an order granting alimony. Now, I know you have a strong opinion.
That's only in a divorce. You don't get alimony. Also,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm just feeling informative, in a paternity case, so where the parties are unmarried and have children.
Get your notes, people. Get your notes.
Write this down. You can't deal with property issues.
In a paternity case.
Yeah. I have one case where the parties have a dispute amongst them about a $20,000 down payment on a house, that the house was only in one party's name.
Okay.
And the other party gave $20,000 for the house. Stupid. Do not do this. Unless you're married or on the house. But they did it and had a baby and did not get married.
Okay.
So they tried to negotiate in mediation to get this $20,000 back. And I was like, no. And I was like, I was being a little petty, and I shouldn't have, but I was.
No. You're not petty.
But I asked, I'm like, do you even have any paperwork to back up the fact that you paid this $20,000? He's like, no. I was like, do you have a contract that she'd pay you back? He's like, no. I'm like, so even if you bring it in a civil case, you don't have a case. Have a nice day. So, that was
I mean, and we laugh about these situations because
I know I shouldn't laugh.
Well, no. It's like you said earlier. It's the nature of the beast, and sometimes you're asking a question to an answer that you already know.
Right.
And
like if this person, he or she, were my client,
yeah,
I'd be like, you messed up. You messed up. That's a gift.
No, and there are attorneys who will, I don't want to say, like,
I love to move to dismiss those cases.
How would I say it? How would I say it? Like, mislead the client? Like, oh yeah, we can try and get this, we can try and get that.
I won't. I will be like, ooh, bad news. You lose on that issue.
And no, and that's the one thing that I really hold you at high esteem, because you're honest with the client, even if the fact itself is gonna upset them or it's not the answer that they want to hear. It's the damn truth.
I do have some clients who will leave my representation because of that reason. That they'll be like, well, I want to have this, and you don't believe in my case, and I'm like,
and it's not that you don't believe in the case, it's that the law. You've interpreted the situation to the point where, no, the judge will not grant this.
Right.
And we have a software at our firm to show us how a judge will sway on certain motions.
Yeah.
And it's, the analytics behind that, it's nothing against you. It's just that the case isn't strong enough, or your situation.
Well, you're asking me for legal advice.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted me to be your yes man, that's a different department.
Yeah.
I charge a lot more for that. But in a courtroom, I have to go with what the law supports, and that's the advice that you need. That's the guidance you need.
Correct.
Because if I'm like, yeah, you can win it all, the judge will award you like custody of the dog, shared cut. Like, that's also not a thing. Judge isn't going to do that. So I'm like, these things aren't going to happen. These are expectations. I actually had this as an issue today. I have a case where I feel truly like this particular case, the facts of this case, the scales of justice. And I was just speaking to my client about it. I'm like, I don't usually feel this way, but this case, I feel like the scales of justice are really like right there. I'm like, good luck to this judge, because I don't know how she's going to rule. And I know this judge, and I really like this judge. She's great. She really tries very hard to do what's best for the child. And I told my client, I'm like, at all times, I remind my clients, I have no guarantees. There are no guarantees what a judge will do in a courtroom. But I'm like, with your case, you rolled out a doozy of facts here. Like, I don't, and I want to do what's best for this child and maintain some safety and make sure that we're doing, and again, these have some complicated facts, but I'm like, this is going to be a lot to weed through and make sure that the judge has the opportunity to make this decision. And I'm like, we got some work to do. You better buckle up, fill out all the forms I send you.
And no, there are a lot of times when right after a consultation, you're like, no, we got to do this like right now.
Yeah.
And every it's on a case by case basis where that does come into effect, but each and every case that you handle still gets that elegant touch of what needs to be done, like right then and there.
Right. And there are some cases where I'm like, we got to jump on this because we have some deadlines coming up. And we're skating in at the last minute. So, but this particular case, I'm like, I know that the case I intend to present, I really, really believe in. I really do. And what we're asking the court to do, I really believe is the right thing for this child. But sometimes what is difficult is the burden of proof, right? Having to prove things, like in this particular case, there is some emotional abuse, right? That's really hard to prove.
Yeah.
It just is, because everybody defines it differently. There's no standardized definition.
And depending on how hard that abuse is, you might not get the right answers from the victim.
Well, and in this particular case, I really do believe that there is emotional abuse. That even when I spoke to the other side about the facts, they don't differ in what the facts are. And I'm like, that's emotionally abusive, right? But, and I have pretty thick skin. So when I hear certain things, sometimes my clients are like, it's emotionally abusive. He said my macaroni was too sticky. And I'm like,
well, I mean, if your macaroni's too sticky, then I think we just need to.
Sometimes I hear that stuff and I'm like, I don't give a crap. I'm not saying that to the judge. I'm like, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. If you say it in your testimony, I'm going to object. I'm going to object to your testimony as non-responsive. But, but this particular case, I really do believe it is a level of emotional abuse that does need to be addressed. And I have that concern for this child. This is coupled with the fact that this child is middle school age.
Okay.
Are they just going through their middle school, the life change, and having a major emotional...
Middle school is tough. Have you not seen Big Mouth?
It is tough. I was a middle schooler once, if you could believe it.
Wearing your Celtics jersey and all.
Yeah, I was. I think I had the green Adidas windbreaker at that time. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was cool.
So moving from child support now with the big question, alimony. I know you
really want me to answer this.
I really do.
See, I can change the subject though.
There are a lot of times that people automatically assume that they deserve alimony because they quit their job, they were an at-home mom, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form talking bad about them, but I hear these all the time when we talk to a prospect. And I gave up my job, I moved for him, and now he had an affair with his slutty receptionist. What do I do now? I want my alimony. Like, what happens then? She was slutty.
It's important facts. It's really important that we do that.
Yeah.
This is generally what the advice I give them, and it outlines the law. Alimony is based on need and ability. So it would be established by first establishing your need if you are the person seeking alimony, then established by the other person's ability to pay. So a lot goes into that. Sometimes we have to impute income. And if you're not working full time, even doing a minimum of minimum wage, short of you having a physical or mental disability,
Sam, get out of the frame. God.
He could be in the frame. Yeah. He could be in the frame. He's working
Yeah.
on our house. We have all these little projects that he does, and I love being married to a handyman. It's awesome. This is like,
No, I can't believe you're getting a shelf for your lipstick.
he's gonna probably build me a second one. I think I need to.
Oh my god.
Yeah. He builds me these custom shelves, and I love them. My favorite ones were my laundry room's gonna get some. My favorite ones were the ones in my pantry.
That one came out great. I remember that weekend.
I got him, Bill.
Yeah, you did.
So it, what ends up, those are a lot of things. Sometimes they will impute income to the
Mhm.
recipient, usually, maybe, right?
Case by case.
Case by case. At a minimum, it's too many minimums in that sentence.
Mhm.
The least bit by minimum wage, because you could work at a minimum wage job full time. Even if you take care of the children primarily, you have to have an exceedingly good excuse as to why you are the only person who can care for the children.
Okay.
Would there be a better balance of your children going to daycare? Because if you're receiving child support, the cost of your children going to daycare is something that can be considered.
I mean,
In the amount of child support that you're awarded.
gotcha. And not to mention, I mean, I know here in the state of Florida, there are a lot of programs that assist with childcare.
No, there aren't.
Really?
No, not that many. So cool. I'm glad you feel that way, you non-parent. But no.
Well, no, I bring that up because someone in my life was dealing with that. They had to apply for something.
I couldn't qualify when I wasn't working and I was in law school.
Really? Wow. That. I mean,
And if you think that you know me.
I know.
But am I the kind of person that if there's a way, won't I find it?
You do find a way.
I will find a way, right? If
Yeah.
there's a way that something can happen, I will find it.
If there's a Will, there's a Smith.
There's a Morse. But there aren't that many programs for it. It isn't that easy. But the good news is you are in a proceeding where alimony's on the table. So hopefully that means your significant other has, sufficient income.
Yeah.
And child support's on the table.
And alimony, it's a preconceived notion that alimony only gets awarded to women.
No, it's need and ability.
Gotcha.
It didn't discuss your genitals in that phrase. I didn't identify your genitals when I said need and ability.
Thank you, Erin.
It's true. You could quote me on that.
So now we talk to let's get down to the nitty gritty.
They also don't identify your genitals in child support. My husband's over there, working on my little shelf, and he goes, "Welcome to my life."
So let's get down to the big topic. When it comes to child support and alimony, that's been ordered and granted by the judge.
Mhm.
There's usually timelines, hey, child
Monthly.
support will begin on such and such date
Right.
at this amount. It's very clear.
So usually there's an ordered monthly amount, and then we enter an income deduction order. If one is entered, the parties can agree not to do that, and he could pay you directly through Venmo or Zelle or bank transfer, whatever is easiest for your family. If your family agrees on that, that's fine, and that's probably best because you reduce some fees.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have an income deduction order, the income deduction order, and I do this math all the time, I made a cool little Excel spreadsheet because I really am this nerdy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, use my spreadsheet. So where you can figure out what it is bi-weekly, and bi-weekly is not monthly divided by 2. That's bi-monthly. Bi-weekly.
You're never going to let me live that down, are you?
Never. It happens all the time. Lawyers do it in court, and I swear every time they do it, I'm like, no, that's not what bi-weekly is.
You see, this is, I got to start getting you to wear headphones. I got to start getting you to
No,
wear
this is
headphones.
why I don't, because I'm loud. So, and I'll briefly explain how you get this math. You multiply your monthly amount times 12, divide that by 26, which is different than bi-monthly. You doing the math on that?
I'm putting the formula up.
So, and then bi-weekly, there, we put a figure in on how much that is.
No. You want that formula? You got to give us a call, 407-900-745. We're giving you some pretty good tips right now. So if you want more of that, you got to give us a call to set up a consultation.
It just, people don't think about it. They're like, well, there's 4 weeks in a month. No, there aren't.
No. I'm excited that there's a
4 times 7 is what, Patricio?
4 times 7 is 28.
And how many days are in the typical month?
30 to anywhere between 28 and 31.
There's 1 month with 28 days.
Well, that brings down the average.
Okay, but what are most months?
30 days has September, April, June, and November. All
Well,
the rest have 21.
Except for February.
Because February's a bitch.
So, how many months have exactly 4 weeks?
Just one.
So how could it be like that?
If you're joining us in the live feed, please feel free to
I'm sorry.
throw your questions out there right there in the
Absolutely.
comments. We have some questions that Erin has pulled up,
I do.
and we're going to go over them.
These are the ones that are wonderful. Arch, I see you. And I have a good reason to thank you. She made a comment about me to someone that he apologized when he told me. I'm not going to repeat it.
Okay.
If she doesn't want it repeated, I won't. She could put it in the comments if she wants. But
we have like a private chat in this little thing that we have going.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
But I found it to be my favorite compliment. I told everybody who will listen to me talk what you said.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
You know, there are certain prospects that once we've established like that comfortable level of communication.
He was like, "Don't take offense to this," and I'm like, "That was the greatest thing ever."
I regularly make that comment about you because when you make that comment, it speaks highly of your character and your legal abilities.
Maybe.
You're a BA. Bring that over here.
Beautiful.
Bring that over on this camera because you're gonna get the glare off of that one. It's darker on my side, but look at. Let me blow it up.
Oh, don't get the other stuff in the camera. Ooh.
Look at that. That's gonna be full of lipstick.
If I get enough requests for it, I'll do a makeup tutorial. I won't.
Okay. Like, I don't want to do another podcast.
No. It would be on this one. He already has so many projects.
There we go. Make sure we can't see. Ooh, there we go.
My son's school from home stuff and mess.
Yeah. All that stuff back there.
Okay, here's a good one.
You got a good one?
Is it illegal for my ex-wife to throw away my birth certificate?
Oh.
I think that there is some type of law that you can't destroy that official document, but no, not really. No one's going to prosecute it.
Man, why don't you have a copy of your birth certificate, bro?
But that might be the copy, right?
Yeah.
And she threw it away because I'll get you. How are you going to prove you were born? You can order. You could order another copy of it. They're not that expensive and they're not that difficult to obtain from the Office of Vital Statistics.
Exactly. Please.
So
There have been a couple of cases that I have told them you need to contact these people at Vital Statistics to be able to get your birth certificate because a lot.
Not hard.
It's not.
I had to do it.
Yeah.
I did it. I never went to Massachusetts to get it.
No, just a simple request online. You can, expedite the process.
I think they're public records, so I don't even think they care who you are.
No, they don't. They just you can answer you have to answer 2 or 3 questions.
Also, I don't need them for your case.
No.
I never filed the birth certificate. Rarely.
So it's not illegal to destroy a birth certificate. You really can't.
I mean,
Your Honor, she destroyed my birth certificate.
To jail. Straight to jail. You overcook chicken, to jail. Undercook fish, jail.
Over under.
Is additional time sharing subject to the financial situation of the father? No. In the same way that Arch, say the words. They were funny. In the same way that if a parent does not have money,
Mm-hmm.
that they can't um, not have their child, right? If you don't have the financial ability to support your child, you shouldn't have your child. I'm like,
I can think of a
okay.
couple of cases right now.
Actually, you want to know what's funny is where I really saw this? Don't judge me. I'm telling you all a very secret. Teen Mom 2 was on.
Oh my God. I just
know
put you
why I
the
like-
second I put you on the big screen, you just okay. Yeah, you're getting off the big screen. There you go. Teen Mom 2. Okay, go on.
I watched it.
Okay, go
I
on.
watched it when it first came out, and I watched it when it came out on Netflix. Mostly because now that I'm a lawyer, I see it so differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching like the special on Dr. Drew, like the follow up with Dr. Drew, and I really wish I could do the follow up and take it from like a legal custody perspective. I wish
Okay.
I could be, this shared parental responsibility kind of idea, or co-parenting, or I really wish I could, I want to give them advice now. So now I was watching it and I'm like, it's, like when sometimes when men watch football games,
Yeah.
they're like, that's how I feel the whole time. Like, oh my God, if this got into court, right? If we admitted this, episode 6 as exhibit A. So
Horrible call. What do you mean holding?
So there was one episode with Kaylin, and again, these people have long since resolved their custody issues.
Yeah.
These are not at issue. But there was one episode where mom went to get child support, and she held off on getting child support. She felt like she was getting a handout. This is about Kaylin. I like her. She's probably one of my favorite characters. I just like her.
Wait, they won? Oh, I didn't know. Congratulations. It's pretty badass.
So they, she got child support. The child support order was in the ballpark of 400 and something.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, Dad says, I really don't think that I need to contribute to paying your bills. And she's like, it's not my bills. It's for our son.
Yeah.
Our son needs a roof over his head. And he goes, well, if you can't provide for our son yourself, why don't you just give the child to me? And she's like, that's not how it works. Right. So it would be like persecuting someone for not having money. And this wasn't a mom who was like, I'm just, doing drugs and, screwing off.
Yeah.
She was trying to go to school. She was trying to have her own apartment. And $400 isn't that much money.
No, it's not.
That doesn't go that far, but it like changed her life and made it so she could afford the gas to get to school.
How much are diapers nowadays?
I don't know. Expensive. I remember when my son was little, my price point was 25 cents a diaper. I understand.
Okay.
I did extreme couponing when I was in law school.
You still got to sit down and teach me your couponing ways.
I could get it done in 4 hours, and I would only spend $50 a week on everything.
Oh, God.
So that included like fresh fruits and vegetables, all my groceries, my diapers.
Show me your where and show me the way.
Cleaning supplies. I still have some of my stockpile for certain things that don't go bad. Crazy. So where there's a will, there's a way.
So to clarify on what that question was.
Yeah, your money has nothing to do with time sharing.
I think we got time for one more question, and I do have a story for you to react to.
Let me see.
Because and if you're in the live feed, please feel free to put in your questions. Attorney Morris will do her best and her due diligence to give you the right information. And if you feel uncomfortable with putting your laundry out there, right there is the number 407-900-7451. Give us a call to schedule an appointment today.
I'm going to answer 2.
Ooh, okay.
Because I'll do whatever I want.
Exactly.
My son has filed paperwork for joint custody of baby. They are not married. What is mother does not show for court? I imagine you mean to say. I am one of those grammar people. What if mother does not show for court? If she was properly noticed, meaning she was served with the paperwork, personal service, and she doesn't show up for court, and you can really show that she knew about the court date, which you want that. Then you can ask the court to grant your relief, give you what you're asking for. You have to make sure you ask for it the right way. So if you think she's not going to show up for court, even we do limited services, so you could pay us for just this hearing. Have an attorney go so that we can request the correct relief so that you can get the things you want, especially in that scenario.
Yeah.
I really want to be the attorney in that scenario for you, right? And again, especially if she's not there. So make sure you ask. Make sure you ask for everything. Those forms that are online don't cover everything that's available, don't cover everything that's possible. And legally, don't follow the law completely. Those are for forms when people aren't fighting.
And once again, I put the website right there, more-firm.com. Even if, let's say your phone's not working, you don't like to talk to people, we get it. It's understandable.
That's why we all have Uber Eats.
Yeah, just leave
I
it.
want to call someone to get my food.
Leave it at the door. But unfortunately, because we need to get some information, go to more-firm.com, and right there you can schedule your consultation with Attorney Morse or one of our other associate attorneys, and we'll just simple questions that you have to answer. And boom, you'll be good to go to sit down with Attorney Morse to go over your case.
Okay, this is the last one that I'm going to. Oh, I have one more I'm going to answer.
Okay.
If the father doesn't have complete custody of the child but pays for their phone, is the mother allowed to restrict it? The mother can restrict it at her home. She's allowed to be a parent. Did you just ask if she can parent during her time sharing? I hope you didn't. Yes, she can.
I kind of want to help this guy with that question now. You said at the home. Or is it under
is
her
the mother
supervision?
Allowed to restrict it?
So if it's her time, whether they're in the car or at Little Caesars, whatever.
Yeah. My son has to turn his phone off when he goes to school
Because he's under your time.
Well,
I'm saying if it was a time sharing dispute.
And then when he comes home before he goes to bed, his phone needs to be in my room and on my charger. If it's not there, he's in trouble.
It's funny you say that, because when I'm sitting here and setting up, I hear Connor say, 3 hours. I'm like, what's 3 hours? He's like, 3 hours till I have to go to bed. Maybe 4 hours if I talk to Sam. Just like that. I'm like,
He's like a grown-up.
He is a grown-up. He's like, he's assessing how much time he has left, what he can do, what he can watch.
What he should do, how he should use that time.
Exactly. No, he's as smart as they come.
One more, because I can answer this one really quickly.
Okay.
Can I legally keep my cat if I don't have documentation that he's mine? Who's taking your cat?
Yeah.
My cat was given to me by my mother. She was found on the street. Cat pees on my bed.
What?
Yeah. Yes, you can keep the cat.
Because cat is property, not a person.
Yeah. So just go bring the cat to a. It's not really a family law question either.
Yeah.
I know cats are family. Cat pees on my bed with knowledge and ability to reach the litter box. Sounds like intent. I spank her, and my cat has now bit me. My mom wants to give the cat to her friend because I discipline the cat. I feed this cat and pay for everything, give it all the attention she wants. Just
cats are buttholes.
Bring the cat to a vet. That's how you get your documentation on it being your cat.
Ooh, get that rabies shot.
Give it a cool name.
Oh, give the cat a cool name. Okay, I'm like, give it a cool name. Like, what are you talking about?
Our dog's name is Scooby-Doo Orton. It's cool. Scooby-Doo.
So no, I want to say thank you to everyone who sent in their questions, also through, because I know you got some people watching through Instagram and Facebook on your personals. But like I said, if you would want to have a one-on-one with Attorney Morse, 407-900-7451, or go to our website, more-firm.com. As we end the show, I love bringing out this topic because we get a reaction from Erin on whether it's a photo, a video, or a story out there. It's fun to see her reaction. And right now I'm going to put it up on the screen. Let me go here. After you die, Microsoft wants to resurrect you as a chat bot.
A chat bot?
A chat bot.
I don't think people want to talk to me that much. I'm alive. I want to understand the science behind this because I'm a nerd. But
yeah, I'm going to go
what
into.
What would you say? Would you do it?
If I were to die, That's if my family wants to keep me around a little bit more.
I'm at like, would you put this in your dying wishes that it could be permitted?
Yes.
I didn't ask, but your family did. See, you answered the wrong question. This is how I prepare my clients. I'll ask them a question and then they'll answer something else, right?
Yeah.
So I asked you, would you want this done? And you went, that depends if my family. I'm like, I didn't ask if your
didn't ask me
family
that.
wants it done. I asked you if you would want it done.
I would give my family the ability to do it. Yes. So yes, it's in there. Yes, I would. I totally would.
I probably would give my family the ability to do it too. I don't know that I care.
Yeah. So
I'm also not going to be here. So does it matter?
it really doesn't matter. So no, last month,
I hope I get to hang out in the fluffy clouds.
Microsoft was granted a U.S. patent from the Patent Trademark Office for the outline of the process to create a conversational chat bot of a specific person using their social data. So as I was reading this article, it blew my mind because even creepier, the application could also don the likeness of your dead loved one in a 2D or 3D model and utilize their voice while talking to you.
So now I have a question.
Okay.
I know that they could recreate your voice if you say enough.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that there's actually...
We have Morgan Freeman for GPS.
See? And he didn't repeat every word that exists on GPS.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So that's a thing. My question is why did they couch it? And why is it marketed? But as when you're dead, like, why couldn't you do it now?
Why? I don't know.
Why are they marketing as like, when you're dead, we could recreate your likeness? Like, that's morbid.
So right here,
Yeah, like, why not say we can recreate your likeness?
we have the technology.
Right, that's what I mean. Why not couch it like that? That you could have a clone robot that could be recreated. Why does it have to be now that you're dead? Like, it's dark.
Beth says,
I understand that you could put that as part of the application. Or now here's my other question, because I'm suspicious of everyone and everything.
Okay.
Okay. Did they just report it like that? Is that not really what Microsoft did?
Well, here, according to the new Microsoft patent, images, voice data, social media posts, electronic messages, and written letters can be used to create or modify a specific index in the theme or specific person's personality. So they're basically taking everything that how you express yourself through social media and, voice data.
I want to see it in action. I want to see them do it. Like with me, I mean, I've done plenty of videos. I think they could extract a decent amount.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it in action.
And from there, engineers.
I don't even know how I'll react to things. Honestly, I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just along for the ride, and I'm like, not sure what's going to come out of this mouth next.
And this is where this is where it says sort of an AI-based version of it. So like I was literally about to say, like, is this going off of just collected data, or are they basically just inputting that data?
Of course, it's going to be artificial intelligence
into an AI-based software.
Yeah.
And
what's scary about it is what do they call it when they put other people's faces on videos?
Oh, the deep fakes or the reface.
Yeah. This is scary. They could recreate your personality and make a whole video of you saying things that you would never say.
Yeah. I got Justin Trudeau to do an ad for my podcast a few weeks ago.
Sweet.
Yeah, because the technology's out there.
I read an article that the person who has made the most money was the guy from The Office.
Oh, the chubby dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but he made the most money on that.
Wild. It's insane.
It's probably because his price. Well, I read the article. The article said it's because his price point is reasonable and he's real recognizable. Because there are a lot of celebrities on there, but their price point isn't at a place where.
Oh, you're talking about the cameo spots, right? Or yeah.
Is that not what you did?
No, I did I took the.
You did a deep face.
I did a deep face.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've figured out how to do that, and it's going to be dangerous for us in a few weeks. I'll get Tom Brady to say we're awesome. But no, right here from there, engineers can use the index to train a chatbot to converse like that person. Yes, even if they're already dead. So
okay. So that's why they just marketed it this way.
Yeah.
for clicks. This was clickbait, people.
And I
I
got
just want you to identify it was clickbait.
clickbait. Yeah.
But I'm hungry.
So no, my question is like, if it is AI
I'd
based
let him do it now.
and the program is responding to you talking,
I think that would be sad.
it really would.
I am a widow. I was
Mhm.
widowed 3 years ago. And I don't think with my late husband that I could bring myself to like watch or interact with that. Like we have I have quite a few videos of him, of course, right? I'm always taking pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And those are hard to watch. I can't imagine that. And I really think it would make having the ability to like move on from such a tragedy
Yeah.
would be hard.
My thing is, would the AI, how would it be able to process the fact that it's not alive? No, you died. You're just here to entertain me.
Like I think it would be
Like,
hurtful or scary to watch. Like it
Yeah.
would be sad. I think it would just be sad. I'd be like, this is unfair.
like you'd ask me, like, would I allow this? I'm like, if my family wants it, then yes, I would put a clause in my last will and testament to say you can make an AI of me.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not going to matter. I'm going to be dead.
But I think that it might make it hard for my family to move on.
There's a story I heard years ago of this attorney who lived off his cell phone, and he was in a car accident, and the family still to this day pays for the cell phone.
Yeah, like I had to shut his cell phone off because it like made me sad to see on the bill.
Yeah, and they have his number on his tombstone, so people will call just to leave a message, and it just
But then
blows.
someone has to check those messages because the messages fill up.
Yes, they do. Usually with T-Mobile, it's 32 messages max. Then you're
So
full.
that would be like sad.
It is. In my opinion, it would be sad. After death, you move on. You celebrate the life that just passed.
I mean, I don't know that you move on. I think you just learn to live like with that broken piece.
Mm,
You know? You
Yeah.
just learn to like accept that broken piece of you and like own it in some way. You know? It
Yeah.
just becomes a part of you. I think that would be so hard. And I have lots of videos
mhm.
of Steven and our son. And I even have a video, we have like a love note video. And we did a video for the firm, and it was not long before he passed away
Mhm.
because he passed away really unexpectedly. And we actually talk about our little story in the video. And I don't even like watch that often because, it's just hard.
No, I remember the day that you brought it out, and we watched it. I did see your reaction right
Yeah,
there, and
yeah.
I can't fathom that because I've lost family, I've lost
Mhm.
friends, but there's a certain magnitude or a certain level that you have with a certain someone.
Mhm.
I haven't lost that one yet,
Right.
so
Right.
I can't
So I
process.
can't imagine there being some type of artificial intelligence that would be replicating him.
Exactly.
And I think I also would look at it and I would spend the entire time picking it apart.
Hmm.
I'd be like, he wouldn't actually do that.
No, he would never say that.
Yeah, he wouldn't say that to
Yeah,
me.
no.
He wouldn't use that tone. He wouldn't say those words. Like
Mhm.
because you react to everybody differently. The way I talk to Sam is a lot different than the way I talk to you, which is a lot different than the way I speak to a potential client,
Yeah.
and a lot different than the way I would speak in a courtroom. Definitely how I speak on this podcast is not how I conduct myself in a courtroom. So I think that's going to be another. It's a doggy.
Oh, okay.
I think that's going to be
I thought the tumbler got
another.
out.
That's another thing that would be difficult, right? Because you wear different hats,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. No, it's true. This how you just said, when I'm talking to you or when I talk to my roommate or when I'm on my podcast, the tone is a bit different. The thought process is completely different. And
And under my umbrella of attorney-client privilege, I'm going to say certain things
yeah. Oh yeah.
that I wouldn't say. I'm gonna be like, that's a crappy disposition, right? You're
Mhm.
wrong about that. That I would never say in a courtroom.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Maybe they're really good at it. Maybe they could really analyze all of that and get it right or make it seem. But I think I would spend the whole time picking it apart.
Oh yeah, you totally would. You totally would.
I know. I'm annoying.
I'm like, if that's the case, let's bring back the founding fathers.
Yeah, that's who we should. You know what I mean? It's those kind of people. Like that's who this technology could be used for. That would be great.
Yeah, if I was a musician, I'd bring back Biggie and Tupac. Let's
Really?
help me make an album or something like that. If I was a musician.
Yeah, I think some better artists.
Who? Kurt Cobain. Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Oh.
He's Elvis in his heyday.
Yeah. Elvis before going karate badge wearing.
Before the cocaine.
Before the. There's a. There's a photo that I have.
That's the stuff that would make it into my AI, right? Not the wonderfully pulled together professional I am in a courtroom.
Yeah.
This cocaine.
But with all, skip mine. With all that said, 407-900-7451 or go to our website, more-firm.com. Erin, do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Give me a topic to spit some advice on. Last week we talked about
Signing paperwork.
signing paperwork.
Yeah, signing documents.
In what way? Can you get it done like I asked you? Can you get your evidence together?
If your soon-to-be ex-husband just says, "Hey, you know what? No, just sign this. You'll be fine." It's
do
okay.
not do that. Get a lawyer.
Review it.
Have a lawyer review it. If you have a consult and you send us the paperwork before your consult, we'll review it and go over it with you. You only have to pay for 1 hour of time.
And believe me, it's worth it. It's a huge weight off your shoulders, and you put your mind at ease.
You can use the link on our website to schedule the time to speak with us, and we'll review it. You don't even have to talk to anybody before you make that phone call. Don't fuck this up. There goes our boost.
There goes our boost. Seriously, we went an hour and 12 minutes.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, fuck it. We might as well.
That's what's in my AI.
But as always, my name is Patricio. Of course, Attorney Erin Morris. We thank you so much for your time. And as always, 407-900-7451, more-firm.com. And let us help you find your new normal.
Erin Morse for your divorce.
Boom.